Arsenal fans, Spurs fans, they're at it online constantly. I'm seeing on my timeline every day.
Eventually they're going to be expected to actually win something and win a league. If they don't win anything this year, and they go again next year, it's the same old thing, and they don't win anything again, then you can't really say that Arteta would be a top manager.
You all laughed at me when I said Spurs were going to finish in the top 5. You all laughed at me.
Moving over to Spurs, Anto, they look unstoppable at the moment, don't they?
Yeah, they look really good. Unfortunately, as a Chelsea fan, seeing them doing so well isn't good to see. But look, fair play to them. I think before the season started, there wasn't that much pressure on them, so they could just kind of do whatever they wanted. Really, nobody would really, big them up too much or bring them down or say they're terrible. So they just got, went down with things. And I think Maddison, for example, has been brilliant since he signed. Yeah. Honestly, he's been fantastic. Same with Basuma. It just goes to show, like, when you have a manager that actually trusts you and believes in you, you get your chance in the team and you keep it, because under Antonio Conte, he never got a game really. So, fair play to him, fair play to Ange for coming in and I mean, they're top of the league. There's nothing you can say, regardless of the teams they played as well. I think most of 4 of the teams they played, they're in the bottom half, I believe, and they're like in the relegation. Yeah. But still, look, you got to be who is in front of you. So, fair play to them. They're doing well at the moment. I don't think it will last. I think eventually they will fall off. A couple of injuries here and there. I mean, Dyer could come back in, or Oliver Skip. They have to rely on Richardson. That guy can barely score, 3 goals a season, so. But, overall, I think they'd be happy, most Spurs fans.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Their squad looks a bit thin, Colm.
One thing I will say about Spurs is during the Premier League preview we did, you all laughed at me when I said Spurs were going to finish in the top 5. You all laughed at me. And here we are now, top of the league after 11 or odd games.
Plenty time to go.
No. In all seriousness, I think Spurs, they look class, to be fair. And I know what you're saying about their thin squad, but see, obviously outside of Oliver Skip and Eric Dyer, you brought up Richarlison, that he only scored. Did he score at all last season?
A goal, I think.
Yeah, he had his.
Sure.
He had
two. That's it.
Yeah, he had his issues last year. He was quite public with that. And then the first game he comes back, he scores. So maybe he just needed a manager like Postecoglou to kind of, and he kind of seems to do this with a lot of players, where I suppose he signed, just looking back at what he did with Celtic, he signed Jota from Benfica's bench, and he turned him into a player that they were able to sell to the Saudi League for 25 million. So this is something he does. He just kind of picks up players who are low on morale, and picks up players who maybe mightn't be good enough elsewhere, and turns them into solid players.
Arsenal fans, Spurs fans, they're at it online. Colm, at the start of the season, you predicted Spurs would get in the top 4. It's looking good. And Dodo, do you see it happening?
I don't see it happening long term, no. I think Arsenal will finish above Spurs. I think, as I mentioned before, Spurs will eventually fall off. I think Arsenal have a much stronger squad. And obviously, look, last year they finished runners up. So they're either going to finish second again or actually go all the way. I don't see Spurs finishing above Arsenal. They could fall off very easily. Like I mentioned, a couple of injuries and a couple of results against the bigger teams probably won't go their way. Things can change very quickly in football, so I wouldn't rule out Spurs finishing outside of the top 4.
Colm, you made a bold prediction before we pressed the record button here. You said...
Yeah, I think Spurs will finish ahead of Arsenal, primarily because Spurs have a real manager. I think Arteta's a bluffer.
What was that about there?
What? The laugh? I just looking forward to reading the Instagram comments of people calling me a bluffer for calling Arteta a bluffer. But yeah, I think Arteta's a bluffer. Yes, he won them an FA Cup in his first season. He won them the Community Shield this year. But I just think there's something about Arteta that he's not the man long term, I don't think. I think he's brought them to a level now, and he can't get past that. I think Postecoglou is brought...
But isn't he improving the team?
No, he hasn't improved the team every year. I mean, the first season he came in, they were, poor. Second season he came in, they were still poor. And he's kind of kicked it on from there. So he hasn't done it every season. He's done it the last couple of seasons. But I just think that Postecoglou is a better manager than him. I think he'll last at the top longer than Arteta will. And I just think that this season's going to prove it.
What I was actually getting at there is what you said. They were going to finish in the
second.
top two,
Yeah,
Spurs.
I still think they're going to finish second. Postecoglou, he was doubted when he came in at Celtic. People were like, why are they hiring this fella? He doesn't even have a UEFA Pro license. He had to get a special permission to use his Asian Pro license to manage in the Scottish League. And what he's done every year since, he's won the league. Now, granted, I know Scotland and the Premier League are two very different standards of football. But again, he was doubted going into Spurs. He was doubted by Spurs fans even, saying that, why are we hiring this fella? He's not done it anywhere of any real quality. Now he's blowing it out of the park already with Spurs. So this is just something that he tends to do, is just blow expectations out of the water. And I think this year, I don't think it's a bold claim to say Spurs will finish second.
One thing on Arteta, obviously, look, I think he deserves the credit he's been given so far, what he's done with this Arsenal team. Yeah. Obviously, finished second last year. One thing I will say, though, is that, look, eventually they're going to be expected to actually win something and win a league. If they don't win anything this year, and, you know, they go again next year and it's the same old thing, and they don't win anything again, then you can't really say that Arteta will be a top manager. But look, time will tell. He might, you know, go through this season and go all the way. But look, we have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think that as well. If he doesn't win anything this year, there will be a big question mark over his head, definitely.